And thank you very much, all of you guys that have joined us today for this incredible event. I see Manny joining in. Manny, we're gonna change your name because it comes out as Antolin, but I know you're not Antolin.
Definitely
Antolin's
not.
missing a little bit
I
from
still
here.
have hair.
Exactly. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to go ahead and spotlight. And by the way, thank you so much for, yeah, there you go. I know that you guys were looking forward to being together physically, but in this virtual world, I had to ask you to separate yourselves and go into your own rooms and connect so that we can get all of your faces, like just like this in this event. So this way, you see, we have four spotlighted faces that we can all present and work together. And today, we're here with a lot of luxury cruise connections, existing guests, past guests, future guests, and a lot of people that are very much interested in learning about Scenic and Emerald. And we have a full docket today. We have a lot to talk about. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time going into the meaty part of today's event. We're going to be talking about Scenic. We're going to be talking about Emerald. And we're going to be talking about two completely different experiences in the world of in your world, I guess, in the world of Emerald and Scenic, which is expedition, yachting, river, a lot going on. So I'm going to do my best to try to keep the conversation organized. I'm going to moderate the conversation. I'll be asking questions so that we can entertain, but as well educate our audience today in this incredible product, one that unfortunately not a lot of people know about. But on the other hand, that means that we hopefully have a lot of very interested people that are gonna just consume a lot of what we have to talk about today. And a little bit of introductions as we get started today. In this screen, you guys see, and Denise, you can help me change Manny's name. Denise, by the way, is right here next to me. She is our marketing manager and senior marketing manager. And let me do this for a second. Here, that's Denise. You guys rarely ever see her spotlighted, but that's her. She sits right next to me right now. And she helps me moderate this. She helps me kind of keep this moving. And um, we have Manny and Antolin and Elizabeth. And Manny, why don't we start with you? Can you
Sure.
share with me what you do and what's your role at Scenic and Emerald? And then we'll go Antolin and then Elizabeth, just because that's the order that I have you guys in my screen.
So as a well-trained married man, I do whatever my wife tells me to do, and Liz has gotten those permissions from Georgina. So I am here at her beck and call for the majority of stuff. But all jokes aside, I manage the our field sales team. I'm the senior director of our field sales team. Our regional sales directors like Antolin and a few of his counterparts across the country. I report to Liz, who
Because hold on, you gotta say that again because the something happened with the sound there. You're sounding a little bit robotic. Yep. Try again. No, I move the yeah. Uh
In the meantime, I can talk through Manny's role. He's
sure.
really our he's our senior director of field sales on that side. We've got 7 RSDs that are again spread out nationwide to help support anyone from an advisor perspective to really curate the best experience from a client standpoint. And we're really focused on our Scenic Group portfolio, which is 2 brands, Scenic and Emerald. And then 4 products, which is our luxury yacht products that Scenic and Emerald both have that we'll get into. And then also our river ships, which is 22 river ships in Europe. And then we've got 2 that are specific for Asia on that side of it. And then, of course, Antolin is your guy for anything having to do with Scenic and Emerald from a Florida and PR focus. But Antolin, I'll let you go ahead and get into all that you do and what you can do from a support standpoint.
Awesome. That's a great intro, Liz. I appreciate it. And so I get the very esteemed privilege to support a great partners, specifically like Luxury Cruise Connection. And there's just so much into it, right? There's a lot of not only the camaraderie, but all of the careful thought process behind, not only how can we provide the best value and the best option, but how can we create the most purpose and fulfill that for the clients, right? So it's that journey, and that takes many avenues, whether it's training or just being visible, giving support, or even with creativity, troubleshooting, all of the above, really just always geared on working close together to provide, again, the most fulfilling and spectacular vacation experiences possible.
And I'll just add that that's a lot easier to do when we've got great partners like you guys. So thank you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. And the truth is that, we put these events together for a lot of reasons. One of them, of course, is to educate our audience, but and to provide value and knowledge and so forth. But at the same time, it gives us an opportunity, a little bit of a platform to share with our audience how incredible our partnership is. And it is because of relationships like this that we're able to do the things that we do for our clients and personalize the experiences to the level that we do, and to pull the miracles that we sometimes do, and to really kind of take the whole experience of booking an Emerald or a Scenic Cruise to another level. And it's because of this relationship that we're able to do it. You guys facilitate that for us. I also like to say that, and I know I've said this in many of our events, but it holds true. We don't just bring anybody to this platform and to these events. We like to partner with cruise lines and partners that feel and have the same values that we have as a company in terms of delivering service and incredible experiences. And so for us,
I don't
know, things in the world of travel, and this is a known fact, like you can't guarantee everything to go perfect every single time, but it is amazing to work with partners that care the same way that we care, and that when something goes a little bit off plan, there is a team of people that will get it done, right? And we'll help things go in the right direction. And the commitment that Scenic and Emerald has demonstrated in terms of customer service and in terms of delivering beyond expectations is really second to none. So I very much appreciate the partnership and extremely glad and happy to have you guys join us in this consumer event platform that we've created to share with our clients, more about the brands and the different partners that we love partnering with. So without any further ado, real quick, I'm going to go through this very quickly. There's a chat box at the bottom of your screen. I'm going to type hello. This is where I want you guys to type your questions. Allow us to go through some of the motions here. We have a lot of content that we want to share. So I'm going to try to keep it moving very, very quickly. But at the same time, if there's anything that you guys feel we need to stop on and kind of talk more about, feel free to interrupt. Or more important, because like I'm sure you guys noticed, this is not a typical webinar setup. You guys can see each other's faces. You guys can see that we actually have at this point over 44 people joining the event. And you can ask live questions, interact not just with us, but with each other. And I will go through every single one of those questions at the end of the event, so that, if there's anything that wasn't that pressing enough to interrupt the conversation for, I'll go through each one of those questions and make sure that we get answers from our team here at Emerald and Scenic. And so without any further ado, and by the way, I'm also going to be pushing some questions, some polls, like exactly like I'm going to do now. So I just launched, you're going to see a little pop-up in your screen that it's going to say, have you ever sailed on Scenic or Emerald? I'm sorry, have you ever sailed on Scenic Cruises? Or if you've sailed on Emerald, it's okay, you can answer that too. And then I'll be asking some of these questions throughout the event as well and be sharing those results too. All right, cool. So let's get started with Scenic, and more specifically with Scenic Expedition and what that experience is about. If you guys don't mind, I'm just gonna ask the question and you guys choose who you guys think is the best one to answer this. But why don't we get started with a little bit of background of the company itself, and then we'll dive specifically into Scenic Expedition. Where do you guys come from, and why why haven't you guys been on the map for so long? I need to understand. I want our audience to understand a little bit of the background of the company.
I can I'll get us started here and I'll let the leadership team jump in and fill in the gaps. But this is a part of the presentations that I'm very passionate about and I like to talk about because it's the type of things that you don't find in brochures and it's hard to put on print, right? And it's the tangible components and things such as culture, right? So to start to talk about the company, we are privately owned. We've been in business actually for over 35 years. Which, so we are an Australian company that our owners are Australian. And the reason why I say about culture is because they are two of the most personable, most down-to-earth people you would ever meet. And I hold this to be true, is that when that kind of like culture and that kind of, those people at the top that just have good sentiment and good culture and care about people and have that genuinely will to make things better, but not just for profit, just for the overall good of the cause and the vision. I mean, when it starts at the top, it truly resonates everywhere, right? And you're going to see that hopefully, well, not hopefully, definitely when you're doing business with us, when you're engaging with the ships, right? Because it's all one ecosystem. It's when you're on the ship and, and the ship is going above and beyond and providing amazing service. It's, why? It's because they got good leadership that's taking care of them, and then their team is taken care of. And I wholeheartedly believe that starts on the top. And it's just, those are the things that no matter how pretty of a presentation or how beautiful your ships are, and ours are, right? That's one of the most important special sauces of us, right? It's that culture and that genuine want to do good and to get better. So we started in Australia doing bus tours to the local operas there, and being the passionate folks that they are, and connecting folks with their passions and their and what they're destined to do and see. That passion led them over to doing bus tours in Alaska, which then ultimately led us to building ships in Europe. So we've been on the cruise shipping side and hold me true here, I want to say the last 15 or 20 years. So now in the last, I would say 9 years, with the evolution of now, also delivering the Emerald brand, where now we have an entry-level luxury brand, and then Scenic still holding true as the ultra luxury brand. Not only did we acquire the second brand, but then we started the expansion into ocean, right? So now we're seeing this large push where our marketing team, and you're going to start seeing a lot more of who we are and our household name. But that's kind of a little bit of a history of kind of who we are, where we came from. I don't know, Manny or Liz, if you want to kind of bring that home.
Well, I would just add, what you were talking about with the culture. I think that you really see it resonate all the way through the brand, whether it's river or ocean. You're seeing things like in our latest ship refresh, when we just took 18 ships this past winter. We refreshed them to have the same look and feel of the ocean, of their ocean counterparts, so you can see that seamless transition throughout either of our products. But I'd add to the piece about Glenn and Karen Maroney, who are our owners. What I found really cool when I came over is, Glenn is the visionary, the designer. He likes to build the toys, and then Karen comes in and she does everything else with it. They truly are a tag team partner. And the way that it's not just, like Antolin said, it's not just about the hardware, but it's about, the why behind it, the what we are also trying to do with when it comes to environmental standards and things like that. We don't talk about it very much, but I do think that it's very important. Everything that you see on board the ships, from the tables to the paints that are used, everything is environmentally friendly. Everything gets tied back in, and that happens when you have that top down culture. And it really is a great way to make sure that we deliver on everything from the top down because it is one ecosystem. So I just wanted to echo that Antolin said.
Yeah.
And then just in general about the brand's growth. What's pretty amazing is when you look at some of the larger publications and things, you hear a lot about the growth in the large ship categories. But when you look at what's actually been delivered over the past year or 2 years, it is these smaller experiences. Consumers and guests such as yourselves who are on this call are looking for more of that, not being on a ship with 7,000 people, having more of that private experience, having those, catered and customized experiences for you. So I do think that we deliver that very well, whether it's on river or ocean. And, Anselm's going to talk through these things, or Liz and I will jump into, but it's a great brand. It's grown from Australia into the UK and then into Canada and the rest of the Americas over here. And you definitely won't be disappointed by sailing on any of these products.
Let's jump straight into the first one of the products I want to talk about, which is Scenic Expeditions. Now,
Yeah.
Scenic Expeditions, beautiful ships. We're gonna talk about the ships in a minute. I know they're great, but I hear you guys have a whole set of awards. Can we talk a little bit about those awards? And I can pull up the screen here that can give us a little bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. So
I always joke and say that every time I see this slide, it keeps getting larger and larger, which is probably a good problem to have. It's not to read through all of it, right? but it's always nice, especially when you're an up and coming brand, and growing that awareness that that you are accredited and are being recognized in your class of being on the top, right? And not to go through some of it, but some of the things that scream different and that are certainly differentiating factors in terms of the experiences. Best expedition cruise innovation, right? Because we're not the only expedition ship. We're not the only person or supplier that. I'm sorry, hearing a little bit of an echo, but we're not the only not the only vehicle to get to Antarctica, but to be recognized and to be the most innovative to get there. I mean, that's what's that's really not only getting to a place where less than 1% of the world has ever been to or seen, but doing it in ways that even the people that have gone have never done it, right? So you're talking about true unique and bucket list type of destinations or type of experiences.
Well, and I'd add, Carlos, just real quick to that. I'd also add, we said we talk hardware after, but I do think that hardware is a big piece of this because the way that Glenn envisioned the product and the way that we built out the product, it wasn't that we took a polar ship and then built it into the experience. Like the genesis of it was, we want an ultra luxury experience. Let's build off of that mindset. So the way that we do it with, whether it's the stabilizers or the dynamic global positioning that we put into the ship, it allows us to do it, number one, more seamless. Number two, it lets us get into the destinations a lot quicker to give folks more time in the destination. And then from the onboard experience side, when we're talking about polar experiences, there's only going to be 200 people on the ship. And for 200 people, we've got 10 different dining options and 9 bars and lounges. So no matter where you are on the ship, you truly feel like you're on a private yacht. It is absolutely incredible the way that the product delivers. And it's just, it really is built differently. And again, we'll see through some of these things as we go through the presentation.
And I think to really quick on that point, Carlos, there's a high amount of loyalty. So we have a lot of return guests. You're talking to almost 100,000 guests that are experience our product on a yearly perspective. So even though we talk about us being new in the US market, we are just getting started in the US market, but it truly does have penetration from a worldwide perspective. I do have to mention that we just had 2 additional awards that were for the Condé Nast Hot List, and that was on Scenic Eclipse 2 and Emerald Sakara. So I think it's important that you've got these accolades that are not just only peer reviews on that side of it, but very prestigious publications that truly do have a really high standard that Scenic and Emerald are both delivering off of as well.
No, of course, the third party validation is definitely important. and obviously sets an expectation, which then you guys are tasked with delivering above of that when people get on board those ships. And let's talk about the experience. Just to give everybody some perspective, Scenic Expeditions built the the Scenic Eclipse ships, and these Eclipse, you saw the picture a minute ago, which is the picture I pulled up just a minute ago. These are very small ships. The exact size of them and capacity. Can you guys share with me?
Sure.
17.7
Yeah, you're
on
talking about, yeah, sorry, 17,000 and a half gross tons. Manny mentioned that there's 10 dining outlets. There's 9 different bars. There's 2 swimming pools, full on service spa. So when you're walking around, and I say this jokingly because I had the opportunity to sail on it, and I will share a story or two before the end. But when you're walking around and you're having a drink at the lobby, for example, you wouldn't tell if you're in a lobby in Dubai or in a ship like this. You're just completely consumed with the ambiance and the environment, and it's just the decor so thoughtfully carried out, and it's really and I'll give you one quick story. So the bartender that served us every night there, and he was a cool guy, and so the bar manager comes around the side and he says, "Hey, do you know that this guy won he was the African bartender of the year?" And I thought he was busting his chops, bar talk or whatever, and I saw that. The bartender got a little humbled, and that actually held true. He was an award-winning bartender, and I had a moment as I was sipping my wine, but I had a moment where I said, you know what? I'm like, this is what, when you're talking about ultra luxury and what's separating and what makes it so unique, and why is it that you feel like you're walking on water on these on this ship, and it's that level of personnel. It's like you don't even like, even from the bartender from everywhere, like you're talking about top of their class and what they're doing, and it really resonates in the experience. And to hone in on the experience and what you expect on a scenic brand, and this just holds true for ocean and river, is the fact that it's an all-inclusive offering, right? So we're talking about from premium open bar, butler service, suites
in
in
every room. Yeah.
Exactly, right. And it's an environment very conducive for the surprise and delight moments, right? And the team is absolutely tasked to be able to constantly have that in top of mind and deliver. The other thing that I will mention that's really a separating kind of a component of these 2 vessels, the Scenic Eclipse 1 and 2, is the fact that, and I say this respectfully, right? And Manny touched on this. There are some people that do expedition and they do it well. Some people that do small ship luxury and do it extremely well. And there's some people that do or yachts, right? So nobody really quite does all 4 the way that this ship does. It really brings it together. So if you want that full on extreme, literally where the ship's technology can pull up on an ice shelf and, pull the gangway and actually get off onto the ice and get on Antarctica within 15 minutes of getting there. It's that, right? It's being able to really create that wow factor, right? And everything being included from all the tours, your food, beverages. So again, because it's spectacular, 200 people, 10 different dining outlets. It's not a matter of price. It's just a matter of making your reservations and doing it quickly according to your likes, because, it's all included, right? It's such a fantastic environment on board.
And the ship,
Sorry, go ahead, Carlos.
I was going to say the ship is unique enough that is one of the only options where you have both a submarine and a helicopter.
Two.
Exactly. That was a part of the only thing that's not included besides a massage. But I mean that have those toys and these incredible remote regions. It's definitely it's an experience that pays tenfold, right? But yes, there's 2 custom built Airbus helicopters, 6-seaters with leather seats, incredibly comfortable. And talking about the detail and how environmentally conscious we are, those helicopters were built to minimize impact and sound. So when we're in operation in these exotic locations, that we're minimizing the impact on habitats.
And Carlos, I just wanted to bring it back real quick again to the technology piece of it. And I do think that is one of the key things that sets us apart. So whether it's, the enhancements to the Airbus helicopters, and Liz, you can keep me honest here, but I believe there was an additional $1 million put into each of the helicopters to make sure that they were extra environmentally conscious. But it's not just that, the ability to pull up on an ice shelf and be able to let people off. That happens because we have a global dynamic positioning system that allows us to anchor in place without actually dropping an anchor. So we can get into places that have protected seabeds and still provide the experiences. When you're going through the Drake Pass, which is, it's kind of like, that is the challenge that you have to get through in order to be able to experience, this place that a percentage of 1% of people ever get to see. We get through it in about 30 to 32 hours, whereas competitors will take, 40 or so more hours. This reduces the rolling on the ship by up to 95%. It really does let us get through, if it's Drake Shake, and for those of you who have looked into polar experiences, you know that there's two ways to cross the Drake Pass. It's either the Drake Lake, where it's just smooth sailing all the way through, or that Drake Shake, where there is some tumultuous waters. It is a rough stretch of water, but we do it in the best ease, the quickest manner, and in a way that allows us to, again, get to destinations as quickly as we possibly can to maximize time. Another thing that from a technology standpoint, when we get to a destination, it takes anywhere between 50 to 20 minutes for the marina platform to open up, for the helicopters to be out, for the submarine, the submersible to be in the water, the kayaks, the stand-up paddle boards. All of that is in the water within 15 to 20 minutes of whenever we get to a destination, which really does allow for our guests to have, more time and be able to really soak up, the places that we're going to.
I gotta share one quick story, because this is compelling, and actually what might be the convincing factor to get my wife to take this trip with me. But I had a client that certainly had the Drake Shake, right? And one thing is, we have to be realistic, right? Mother Nature is undefeated. Obviously, it helps when you have a ship with the latest and greatest technology. It certainly helps with the overall experience. But he had a little bit of a rough crossing. I'm from Cuban descent. He's Cuban, so we had a joke saying, Cubans don't belong on ice, right? So he was a little nervous. So he walked over to into the bridge, because we have an open bridge policy. And even though it was in pretty rough water, the bridge was open as the brand always promises, and that helped put the passenger at ease. And we joke around and saying, when a plane is in turbulence, it's, you're not able to knock on the cockpit and ask the pilot, is everything's okay, right? And that was literally the experience this guy had. And and talk about a memorable experience. And again, talk about something you can't really put on a brochure. It said, so he made it a point every single night. He would go with his newfound buddies in the bridge, and they'd have an espresso. They showed him how to use the espresso machine in the bridge, and that was his thing, right? So talk about surprising like moments, right? At a time where he was a little bit maybe uncomfortable, and the ship really just drove it home on the experience. So I just wanted to share that piece.
Very cool.
And just so you know, there's actually a couch set up there, so you can go in there, grab your coffee. All of the officers that are there, they'll walk you through all of the different navigational tools. They'll talk about where we're going, and a cool thing about the way that something that a small ship can do, but the larger ships can't. So let's say we do get into the polar region, and there is a bay that's a little bit more exposed. There's a lot of wind. Having the technology and the team that we have on board, they can make adjustments on the fly. So we can go into a protected bay where there's less wind. We can just really cater and adjust experiences on the fly to make sure that at any given moment our guests will have the best possible experience. And when we are in the middle of things, we can also do things like stop. One of my favorite stories since I've come here is there was a sailing in the Antarctic, and it was dinner time. Everybody was in the dining room, and the captain came up over the loudspeaker and he said, "Folks, this is not an emergency, but I'd like everybody to step up off of their table and come up to the top deck." And everybody was, very confused. What's going on? What's going on? When they got to the top deck, the captain was in the middle of a pod of over 100 whales that were all breaching, they were all tailing, and it was nature's surprise and delight moment for us, where you don't see that on the larger ships, and just because they don't have the ability, they have to get to a port at a certain time. Like it's just such a different, curated, and special experience that you have on board us, that it's worth taking that in and factoring that in when making a decision on what vacation you want to do.
Yeah. Look, I want to, I want to keep the conversation moving because we have a lot of information that we got to share, but I want to wrap up, kind of summarize a little bit about the scenic expedition experience. You have spacious, just keep me real here, guys. Spacious suites, fully inclusive, ultra luxury, toys, anything you can imagine, incredible spa, incredible cuisine, incredible drinks and kind of night experience, if you can call it that way, or evening experience. What am I missing?
One thing that's very important, especially in our talking about expedition, we also have an expedition team of over 20 people that are on there that are specialists in their field, whether it's geologists, naturalists, whatever their areas of expertise are. And those 20 folks are with you the whole time. They are out on the ice with you when we are doing those experiences. If you're doing the Kimberly, they are going out there and they are helping to accommodate and craft things like helicopter fishing, where you could take the helicopter into one of the rivers in Australia and do a fishing excursion in there. Like, this is a team of specialists that's there to make sure that on top of the experience that's being provided on board the ship, that you're getting that level of curated experience when you are in the destination as well.
Carlos, just to quickly bring that home also, it's so think of, and I'm my fault, didn't talk about the inclusions. Think of gratuities are included, airport transfers, your Wi-Fi, all the tours, all the gratuities of the folks doing your tours on land, right? And the tours are what we say, it's not just your normal lollipop tour. They're very well thought out. Obviously, on the expedition time side of it, it's much more than just dabbling in expedition. It's full on. If you want to hike, get on the ice shelf, meet the penguins, but really get in tune with the habitat. You have that, or you can do it where you can stay in the zodiacs and kind of take it at your own pace. But truly all inclusive experience. And then in terms of the suites, just to put it in perspective, the accommodations start at 340 square foot. So that's the entry level plus, right? So
and I'm gonna add one more thing. I haven't been on board the Eclipse or there's any of these ships, but some of my team has, and they mentioned that the bedding is probably one of the
Oh,
most.
it's out of this world. Yeah, the beds move. You've got completely dual remotes from a pillow top mattress perspective that is completely out of this world. Karen Maroney went out of her way to really curate. I always judge a ship, especially when it says that it's luxury, on the spin test with, taking your arms out and spinning into a bathroom. And if you're not touching the walls, then you truly do have space on that piece of it.
I never
And the
heard that one.
bathrooms are huge,
I like
completely
it.
bespoke. You have a place to sit down in the bathroom, not only to shower and maybe not touch a shower curtain or not touch a wall of the bathroom side of it, but also a place to really relax in the bathroom on that piece of it. But the bedding is just out of this world. It's meant to be really rest and relaxation when you get in from an exploration perspective. I know we talked with Eclipse 1 and 2 a lot on the expedition side, but also think about the bespoke warm weather destinations that you can go to, like the Caribbean, like the South Pacific on that side. Manny had mentioned the Kimberleys on that piece of it. So it truly does lend itself to not just the Arctic, and that cold weather iconic destination that I think all of us are, willing to check off on our bucket list, but also some opportunities to explore on the Caribbean side.
Good point. And that's actually a great segue for us to get into the next type of experience of your company. Now, jumping to your other brand, Emerald, and then we're going to talk about River, but talking about Emerald and talking about Caribbean and even Mediterranean experiences, you guys have some of the most incredible yachts that you probably see navigating the waters. And that is your Emerald, Azura, Sakara, and now Kia. What is it?
Kaya.
Kaya.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Kaya. And this is what we're looking at here is an aerial view of what this yacht looks like. Definitely looks like an incredible mega yacht. But what is the experience like on board this ships?
I mean, Carlos, when you're talking about 50 staterooms and only 100 passengers on board, you feel like it's a complete. It gives you the feeling of you're on your own private yacht. You have a private wait staff around you. It's when you get to the destinations and that marina platform opens up and you know grab one of the sea bobs and you can chase around a sea turtle in Jost Van Dyke or or go and explore the beaches of the Seychelles when we start to get there on one of those or stand up paddleboard. It is, I was blown away. I know you and I have talked about it, but for the rest of the guests that are on here, I came from the deep water side and the large ships, and I didn't know what to expect when I first experienced this. And I honestly, I was so blown away that I actually called my wife and said, I don't want to do large ships anymore because this experience felt so, it felt like it was curated specifically for me. Like no matter where you were on there, Carlos, if you were in the beach in Jost Van Dyke, our staff, which also is another thing about us, all our staff is our staff. We don't subcontract. We don't use other companies to staff for us. They are our folks. So when you're in that beach in Jost Van Dyke and that staff is just walking into the water and bringing you, a Corona or a freshly squeezed margarita or something like that, like those are those little touches that really do take it from a cruise to a personalized, crafted vacation. It's amazing. It really
And
is.
you're talking about a fleet too, from, being less than 2 years old. So you've got Azora that rolled out in 2022 to Sakara that rolled out in 2023. So this is the top of the top from an innovations perspective, from a design and development perspective, and just what we're offering from a truly personalized experience. We use intimate a lot, and it's not just a buzzword for us. It's truly something that we really deliver on from a guest experience and we really pride ourselves on. That's from the personalized service, that's to the accommodations, that's to what we're offering from a shore excursion perspective, and that family sense that Antolin had talked about, that truly is just inherent from the top down from a company perspective. And the second that you get on board the ship, you feel that.
And one of the great things about these yachts too, Carlos, is as of April, we just passed the date when we launched it. On the ocean side for our Emerald product, it's now also truly all inclusive, where beverages are included as well, which is a little bit different. I know we'll get to that when we talk rivers, but this is also an all-inclusive product delivery. So it's mind blowing, I think, is the best way to put it.
The only thing that is not included in this experience are shore excursions.
We say some shore excursions are included. So there are going to be some that we will include as part of the experience. And then there will be a selection of what we call Discover More, which would be just another set of different upgrade options. The truth is, and Manny will hold true to this from the stories I've heard, it's, the guests kind of root for the beach days, because when the marina's in operation, that's really when they're enjoying the best.
Yeah.
But when, that's of course from the Caribbean side, which is plenty packed with culture. But if you're on the Amalfi Coast and, and hitting these iconic coastlines, then, of course, it's a nice touch to sprinkle in a tour here to get a little bit more in depth with the local heritage.
Well, and what I talked about earlier with the Eclipse and being able to go into a different bay, I had a very similar experience when I was on Sakara during the christening this year, where we pulled into St. Bart's, and the beach that we normally would use in St. Bart's, that day there was a ton of jellyfish reported, and the captain got notified of that as soon as we got there, and we were able to make an adjustment on the fly, position the ship in a different area, and do our beach tours to another area that wasn't populated by jellyfish that day. So no matter where we are, we can make decisions on the fly that will allow for the absolute best guest experience possible.
Your starting suite on this yacht is how big?
So there's some flexibility here, right? So this is actually, there is, out of the 50 staterooms, there is 6 ocean views. Let's face it, right? It's great if, of course, if there's monetary kind of perspective behind it, but if you're gonna be on an intimate setting like that, I mean, it's really a disservice if you don't go balcony and above, right? But you're looking at even the lower accommodation starting at 205 square foot, balcony starting at 300 square foot, and then we have suites starting from 660 to 700, and then our top being at 11 to 1200.
Well, most of the times when we talk about luxury yacht experience, our guests typically associate that with a very big price tag. What are your starting prices like in the Caribbean air event?
I think from a retail perspective, and and I think that's what's always is a great it's always a great idea to work with your trusted travel partner and advisors, because they truly are going to be able to know how to leverage the best rate and what according to what's in the marketplace, or what different deals that we can negotiate. But on retail average, and I'll have my leadership team hold me true, but you're looking on anywhere between a 500 to a 750 per person per night, plus or minus on pricing. Starting, right? But there's, like anything else, right? There's some plus, some more than others. Now, the one thing I will tell you is we did win an award for the best value for what you get, because when you're talking about now, the beverages are included. We include some tours. We have gratuities are included. Your Wi-Fi is included, and we offer airport transfers. There is quite a bit that's already kind of bundled and included into this kind of what we would say it's an entry level product into luxury, right? Still under the luxury segment, but just with a whole lot of value proposition that it's not set as the ultra luxury, which allows us to have that lower price point. But it's an excellent brand for those that maybe historically have been loyal to some, they say, we'll use River, for example, that have been loyal to certain River brands and want to try something different, but with that same proposition of small, intimate, being able to do things that the larger ships can't go to. That's what the yacht proposition does as well, right? So,
Manny, you're muted.
Sorry, you think after 3 years of virtual calls, I would get this by now, but just to paint a picture for folks, because the majority of people who are graduating into these types of products are people who have sailed those deep water large ocean liners. So just to kind of get an idea on our Sakara and Azura, you're talking about a price point that's very similar to a suite class on some of the premium brands, right? So think about folks who have sailed like in a retreat class on Celebrity or the Haven on NCL. It's that type of price point is where you're coming in on the entry level balcony side with these ships.
That same price point, not necessarily same experience for sure.
Correct, price point.
The small ship, intimate experience. I'm gonna make a quick pause here. I'm gonna ask you guys to help me out with this poll that I just sent out. Have you ever done business with Luxury Cruise Connections? I know many of you have. I've seen your faces, your names. I know you hold incredible relationship with our advisors, but I want to know from, statistically speaking, from those that are here, what percentage of you have already done business with us, and what percentage of you hopefully will soon do so. All right, anything else to wrap up Emerald Yachts before we move on to River?
I would just say the introduction to the Seychelles product that we are starting to roll out, and the ability to bundle that up and do one of the safari tours in Eastern Africa. It's a great way to experience both land and sea bucket list type itineraries, and you can check both of those off in one go.
I think it's important for our audience today to understand that. Again, we're going to say it for the 20th time, it's a yacht experience, right? Don't expect a casino, don't expect large entertainment formats,
there's no flow rider.
What's that? Don't expect a flow rider, right? Expect great intimate service, expect to get to know each other on the ship. Everybody expect that every single one of the staff and crew members are going to get to know you. Expect incredible cuisine, expect literally walking off the ship into the water in the middle of St. Bart's or in the middle of Monaco or in the middle of, that's the experience that you're going to get from Emerald Yachts. I'm gonna go straight back to Scenic brand.
If I may, real quick,
Yeah.
just behind, if I don't know if you guys can see that, or maybe on this side, but behind me, that is our new Emerald yacht that we announced a couple of weeks ago. So we'll have our third yacht, as you mentioned, the Emerald Kayak. So it's always great to kind of just hone in on the fact that we are, even though, as Liz mentioned, these yachts are less than or about roughly 2 years old. Now we have even a third yacht coming. So we're still going to continue to have a modern fleet and really taking a product that's been delivering with slight and interesting innovations to just continue that growth, right? So it's a product that's doing well and hopefully will continue to do so. So just wanted to point in on that.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And back to the poll real quick. Thank you for 70% of you guys have done business with us in the past. Thank you for your loyalty and very much looking forward to continue to service you. And for that 30% that has not done business with us, personal invitation to try us out. I'm sure you won't regret it. We want to take your cruise planning experience to that other level. And so, okay, Scenic Rivers. Let's kind of shift our minds from ocean experiences into this completely different world of the European and Asian rivers that you guys service. And if anybody has, if anybody has noticed when you walk through the major cities in especially Europe, they were all built around the river. And so Scenic has created this incredible luxury experience. And for those that come from luxury ocean cruise lines that are looking for an equivalently luxurious experience on board these relatively small vessels throughout Europe, this is a great way to do that. There's just not a lot of players in the luxury river market, and Scenic, plays a big role in there. Can we share with our audience today? Again, lots of awards. I mean, you guys have been awarded look at this, and just all over the place on those river ships. Can we share with our audience today a little bit about what that experience is like?
I mean, this is a testament to our team on board, Carlos. It's the way that they deliver these products and just again, having come from the deep water side and having gotten to experience this, I will tell you that one of the most enjoyable and eye-opening things for me was, when you're on the deep water vessels and you're hitting those ports, you're kind of getting herded through and you have to kind of go fast through these experiences. When you are in these quaint small towns on the rivers of Europe, whether it's the Danube, the Rhine, the Main, wherever you are on a river ship, you're docking in city centers. You're literally steps away from the heart of cities. You're going on excursions where you're getting a full an actual cultural immersion into those towns and really getting to experience the true culture of wherever you are, as opposed to just kind of running through, taking a bunch of pictures on your phone, and then trying to make trying to make out that experience through those pictures after. Like on this product, on the rivers, when you are experiencing them, you are truly getting to enjoy them. So it's a very different way to cruise. It's something that I would highly recommend to people who have done, you've done that Europe cruise, but you felt like, man, I really feel like I wish I would have gotten a little bit more time in Amsterdam or something like that. When I did my Bordeaux cruise last year, you're in a different town every morning. You are touring a chateau, in the morning. You're doing the wine tasting from that chateau's offerings. You're coming back to the ship around noon, having lunch, having a great meal. And then you're making a decision. Do you want to go on another one of the excursions that we have available, or do you want to just go out into the town? And I did both of them. I'll tell you, one of my favorite experiences was when we were in Medoc. We got off, in Cadillac. We got off the ship. There was a lovely little wine bar that was, half a block down. And after coming from the chateau and doing that experience, we sat down, we became friends with the owner of that winery. He took us into his private wine cellar. Like the experiences, the connections, the friends that you make on these, it's so much different because you're not trying to do this with 7,000 people. You're doing it with 160 on Scenic, or 180 on Emerald. So it's a huge difference in experience, and one that will really hit a lot closer to the heart and to the experience. So, my opinion.
Now, in terms of the awards, I saw one of them was specifically for suite design. I know there's some uniquenesses to your suites and how they're designed on board. There's very relatively narrow vessels, right? That are built to navigate those waters. Do you want to talk about a little bit of those suite designs and you know, I was showing a second ago. I'm going to pull it up again. A little picture of one of the bathrooms, which I think it's just you know, just incredible. Oops, I'm sorry. Which I think is incredible. Look how spacious, and it's not a typical bathroom and or suite size for a river ship. I think I want to focus a conversation a little bit about the differences between the Scenic experience and some of the other river cruise experiences out there.
So what happens is, because like you have to think of, and we know this, and sometimes you know the consumers, and I didn't know this until I got into this segment. It's you know, when you think of, we know we know cruises, and we know that there's levels to cruises. We know there's yachts, there's ultra luxury, there's mass market, right? But it's kind of the same thing on river, right? Like there's levels to it where, you know, I think historically the people that were doing research, they kind of, you know, they see a lot of brands and people being positioned as luxury, or this is a luxurious offering. We have luxurious selections, and then to really kind of understand if how Scenic kind of stacks up against that, and how our offering stacks up against that. You know, there's a lot, there's a vast contrast, right? And number one, it's the fact that it's all included, right? So the river experience is going to tend to be a little bit of an older demographic compared to the ocean counterpart, and compared to an Emerald, right? Because of price point and because of the way it's positioned. But you know, again, it's under that Scenic promise where everything's included. One thing, and Manny alluded to it, you know, where the luxury traveler, right? It's, you know, also it's value and all those important things, but really want that flexibility and that personalization to tell their own story, right? And coincidentally, we have a tag in Scenic, you know, it's about stories for life, and that's essentially what we do on these ships. Is we give the guest a canvas and a paintbrush and allow them to kind of design their own story, right? So you know, so I'll give you an example. The first day, we have what we call our Scenic free choice, and it essentially lays out every single tour that's available for every single day. So you have the ability literally to pick and choose what you want to do. And as also, as Manny said, if you want to decide to drop our tour in the afternoon or whatever and get on one of the e-bikes that's already included on the ship, that's already a part of the experience, you can get off in town and do your own thing. You know, so it's very, you know, so it's that environment, right? But what I will say that's very different, and this is another differentiating factor in terms of what to expect, is keeping in mind that we're global and we have international distribution. We're not sourcing heavily from one demographic from one region of the world, right? So we have like-minded folks of a certain level of class and sophistication, right? And obviously you're choosing a destination or a product, right? Chances are you're like-minded in many ways, and you know, sourcing these people from all around the world is really it helps create this energy.
A melting pot.
Yeah,
a melting pot.
You can't replicate it, right? And it's by design. It's the way it happens. So you know, and that also, so even though it is I would say it's definitely an older demographic. It's not what I would say it's pretentious. It's not a stuffy atmosphere. You know, it's not uncommon for drinks to be flowing, for camaraderie to be had. Like kind of like Manny mentioned, that you meet friends, you know, on one of the first days, right? So it's very much under the luxury umbrella. So when you're shopping around and you might see, you know, I don't want to say names, but you might see one of these more historical, well-known river brands, right? And you might see at a different price point, but you know, when you peel the onion, you're going to see that their proposition comes with a lot of a la carte options, where in ours it's already baked in at a high level, a high quality level, which ultimately creates the value.
I think each one of these brands offer a you know, very unique experience. You know, obviously, being in this side of the fence, I can speak freely. Like, you know, and we've had Viking you know, in one of these, in several of these consumer events as well, and we talk about it very openly, right? Viking is a product that a lot of people know because they really helped make those river experiences very well known in the United States. Um, and they're a great product, right? But they're a different product, right? To make some very clear differentiations, the suites are going to be larger on Scenic. The inclusions in terms of what excursions are included are going to be larger in Scenic. The inclusions in terms of dining and drinks and cuisine and all those things are going to be greater in Scenic. The price point is going to be greater as well, but it comes with all that value. You're going to have a spa that you don't get on some of the other river brands. You're going to get
The butler,
a
which is a big one.
butler that
Yeah.
you don't get on nearly any of the river brands. You're going to get much more, I'm going to say, elegant cuisine, and kind of to bring home that concept that Anthony is saying. Viking very proudly says, look, we are an American cruise line focused on the American crowd. If you want to be around Americans, this is where you want to be. You guys are saying, well, maybe you don't necessarily want to be 100% around Americans. You want to have a little bit of a mix of cultures from people from all over the world, and that's the experience that you're going to get on board our ships on Scenic. I want to quickly go because I'm seeing some questions about destinations and where can you sail. This is a little map of your destinations. I saw a question there about
The CN.
the Seine River. This is if I'm not mistaken, this is a Paris to Normandy trip, right? That I'm
Yeah, yes, from on floor down to Paris, and Carlos, it's good that you pointed that one out. Here's another place where we do things a little differently, right? So when we are in on floor or Normandy, the Normandy beaches, we actually get down into on floor. You don't have to take that transfer that some of our competitors do. So you get almost a day and a half in that area. And you could truly explore the different beaches. But Carlos, I wanted to touch on something that you said, and I think you and I have had this conversation. I believe that there is a market for every brand that's out there, and not every client is the same for every brand. But when you look at the product that some of our competitors offer, and you look at things like, for example, I think the most glaring one is the number of passengers that are on the ship. When you're looking at some of our competitors, and I don't normally call use names, but you brought up Viking, so I'll use Viking as an example. They have about 190. Well, they have over 190 passengers on departures where we're sailing in the same river. The ship is the exact same size because they were built so that they can get through the locks and whatnot. But on a ship where they have 192 to 198 passengers, we have 164 on Scenic, or on Emerald, you'll have 178 passengers. So when you've got less people, it allows for larger rooms, it allows for more personalized service. And to Antolin's point, we bundle everything into one experience, as opposed to having to make it a la carte. So what I would not challenge, but what I would ask folks who are interested in a river cruise to look at when they're making a decision is take a look at what's important to you. What are the things that you are going to want on there, whether it's Wi-Fi, whether it's gratuities, whether it's the excursion offerings that we have. Work with obviously you guys who know the cruise world, whether it's river or ocean, like the back of your hand, and have that conversation on what is included, what is going to need to be included. And when you're making some of these comparisons, make them an apples to apples comparison. And I think that when you do that, you will see that there is truly more value in the offerings that we have, and they are delivered in a very different way, and I'll leave it at that because I don't want to talk to another person's product, but I think we do it very well.
Like
Well,
you
and
said,
I think luxury cruise connections from a trusted travel advisor perspective can really help you understand what the experience is like on board and what they've heard from their guests, because I mean, it truly is a partnership that's valued on both sides between the Scenic group. and the Luxury Cruise Connections team. So I would just say, you know, they can easily provide testimonials of clients that they've booked on rivers in the past and just how amazing the experience was. And we really pride ourselves on loyalty and repeat guests. The biggest thing for us is getting our name out there and getting more guests to sail with us. Once they do, they're sold on the product.
And I just want to add that every single one of our advisors, they're extremely knowledgeable about both product and destinations. But what we like to say and share with our audience is what we're most knowledgeable about is about our clients. We're not a call center. We don't like to just pass people around different people. We like to create relationships. And that's what really sets us apart. Like we really know each one of you as we build relationships and understand how to best advise what the right product is for you so that you don't have to do the thinking, because we know it gets confusing. And you know, for as much as we're doing, you know, these events to try to share all this information, we know at one point this gets blurred up. But anyway, I wanna go back real quick to the destination map here. Obviously, the Danube River, most famous river cruise experience out there. Plenty of different areas of this long river that you can explore. But also you can go down to Basel on the Rhine, the Moselle, the Seine, of course, the south of France, this amazing Avignon to through Lyon experience on the Son and Rhone River, beautiful, the Douro River here in Portugal. And then we move over to Asia as well. So talk a little bit about this experience in Asia, if you can.
Well, this is
How long do you have? I mean,
Yeah.
because these
No,
get up to
keep it-
32
we
days.
still have one more brand through.
Well, one thing I would mention, right? It's our Southeast River program it's extraordinary. The testimonials and the program that we have built there is absolutely breathtaking, and we can spend an entire hour on that. What I will recommend, and probably the most important thing that you can remember, is that when you're looking at it and you're shopping it, make sure that you're at the very least looking at what's included on the land portion of it. Because if you only do the river segment, it's spectacular, but you're really gonna miss on some of the highlight points that really make this a special trip. You know, so and you know, I know off the top of my head, I don't want to butcher it, but in the Ha Long Bay area, I know that there's some land packages there all the way into this Siem Reap in Cambodia. That's really, again, it's the highlight of that kind of segment. So if you only do the river component, you miss it. So that's one kind of piece of advice I would say when you're looking at that product.
Antoine, if I may, just to add, don't forget when you do Siem Reap, you're going to the amazing Angkor Wat.
Well, I was just
Temple.
going to say that. Thank you for bringing that up, because one thing that we didn't mention is on every one of our river experiences on Scenic, we have a scenic and rich experience. So whether it's, you know, Palais Liechtenstein and having a private concert, you know, in the palace, or you know, on my Bordeaux cruise, we went to Chateau Avignon, and we had so we did the tour, we did the wine tasting, then we came out and we went into this beautifully refinished, like you know how those barns, they take those old barns and they make them into these beautiful venues. And the venue was, you know, it was open. They brought in an all-female 4-string quartet that played a private concert to just 130 of us that were on that ship. It just these incredibly curated experiences that are solely for you and all the friends that you made on that ship, because we don't partner with anybody else. We don't even partner amongst ourselves. Like, you won't go to one of these enriched experiences and even have an Emerald cruise with you. It's only the folks that are with you. So these types of experiences are truly the ones that are that, you know, that cherry on top of that sundae where you're just absolutely blown away. It's incredible. It really is.
Well, good segue to then go into Emerald River. So again, we talked about, just to kind of bring us all in here. We talked about scenic expeditions. Then we talked about Emerald Yacht. Then we talked about Scenic River. And now we're going to talk about Emerald River. So first of all, what is the big difference between Emerald River and Scenic River? I think that's a good way to kind of get this this
the-
topic started.
the main differentiating factor, it's inclusions, right? And the ships, I will say, in my opinion, the Emerald River ship is a tad bit, I don't know, I guess cooler, for the lack of a better word, from my perspective, than the Scenic one, and I'll explain why. But so in terms of the offering, right? So remember, Scenic, everything's included. You have the Scenic free choice, where you have all of the tours you can pick and choose from, right? So here, we say it's nicely inclusive. So on the river, let's say on a 7-night river cruise, you get one tour pre-assigned for you in the morning. So it's already included. So there's a ton of value in there. You just unfortunately don't have the free choice to pick and choose that. There are tours that are available for purchase in the afternoon. And then, but there is a ton of inclusions, which makes it a tremendous value. So airport transfers are included. Wi-Fi is also included. Your gratuities are included. I know some other brands, premium brands out there might include a bunch of things, but not gratuities. Our gratuities are included as well. We offer beer and wine and lunch and dinner, right? So that's kind of the main contrast between the ocean product. Is ocean product is warm waters, it's beverages the whole time. Here we do one tour every single day, but it's beer and wine and lunch and dinner. The cost to make it all inclusive, to get a beverage package, it's very, very minimal, right? In case that's important to the experience, and we can obviously create that on Emerald. But so when you're seeing it from a price point, it's priced very competitively against mass market, under the luxury offering. So of course, that means more refined food, higher level of service. And then to get to the ships, which I think it's super cool. The ships have pools, right? And I'll tell you that I'm a storyteller at heart. So I'll tell you one quick story. When I started with the company, I noticed a pattern that every couple weeks I was getting an email from a partner saying, "Hey, I had a client that that just saw one of your Emerald ships." And then when I come to find out, it's when sometimes in these ports there might be multiple ships next to each other. So when they get off their ship, they walk across the Emerald vessel, they see aesthetically what the ship looks like, and they go and they tell their travel agent, they say, "I need to learn more about that," just from physically seeing it, not touching it, not doing anything, not experiencing it, just aesthetically what it looks like. And I think that's a testament of that. Yes, they're incredibly beautiful, and it's got a lot of amenities. So here on this slide is a great example. There's a heated pool, so it's fantastic that you have that pooled experience, in a river setting. And then every night, if you look at the top left-hand corner, that's actually the same space as the middle picture, right? So essentially that ground pulls up, the hydro system pulls up, drains the pool, and then we recreate that space into a cinema kind of movie screening at nighttime, right? So talk about really being innovative and creative of maximizing the ship's real estate. So just really unique. And then also, folks they love the fact that it has a spa as well. It's just very well received in terms of everything that you get, and then the cool amenities that the ship offers.
A
Well,
little
and
bit
just to
messy.
add to that Carlos, that roof also, see, it's open air in the middle picture. That roof will close too. So when we are in a colder destination, or if you're doing Amsterdam, let's say in March when it's a little bit cooler, that roof will close so that the heated pool can still be, fully usable, and comfortable to our guests. So it's again, Ken's our managing director, but Glenn, he loves technology, and you see it reverberated throughout all of our products.
So kind of to bring all of that in, still a very high-end experience, but we're not gonna have the butler, right? And we're not gonna have the inclusions in terms of the drinks, and we're not gonna have the same inclusion in terms of the excursions. Yet, like you said, nicely inclusive, where as well, if you want to actually include some of those other stuff, then it's just a nominal fee. And then in terms of where you sell with the Emerald brand, what are the differences? Where do you not sell that you do sell with Scenic, or vice versa?
I know this might not be the official word, but what I, from my perspective, is that we call the same rivers, obviously with the different propositions. The main differentiating factor, or one of the main differentiating factors, there's just more fleet on the Scenic brand. So we have more options, more river options, versus Emerald. But there's, unless I'm missing one, Manny, I don't think there's one specific.
I think the Cien is the only one that I know.
And Dan, Danube on that side of it too. You're gonna see more on the emerald piece of it. But I mean, you're totally spot on, Antolin. There's more from a fleet side of it, into the emerald piece of it.
Okay. And then
Like
also,
Carlos, in this map, you could see that the on floor stuff isn't here on the Emerald side, and some of the other south of France, like the stuff
Yep.
that's west of the Lyon, isn't there. But it again, it is offered on the scenic side. So
on the scenic side. Wow. All right. We covered a lot. You know, I want to be respectful of people's times, but at the same time, I'm getting a lot of questions on the chat. People want to know about specials, offers, how to book it. You know, let me just kind of kick off that conversation by asking you guys, what would you say to anybody that is looking to book any of these experiences? How should they go about it?
call Luxury Cruise Connections.
Okay. What if somebody says, I think I'm going to get a better value if I book direct?
So
I think that
sorry,
side
go
of
ahead.
it, you've got there's exclusive offers that Luxury Cruise Connections has that we don't put into the public space. So I would say, have the conversation with Luxury Cruise Connections on, what type of experience you're looking for on that piece of it. And they can truly look at tailoring some of the enhancements. Like as Antolin had said, there's some inclusions on the Emerald River side that we don't offer that's fully all-inclusive, like the drink package. But we do offer that to partners like Luxury Cruise Connections. So, I mean, that's where you're getting the enhanced benefit. And then you are getting the trusted help from a travel advisor. So I think that, if it's your first time into River or first time into that more small ship experience where it is a higher price point, but understanding that value, Luxury Cruise Connections does a lot of business with us, and they help to explain what is that value to the client that I think truly does help to get you immersed into what that experience is like on board.
And Liz, I know you hate when I keep adding on to this, but I think that this is something that's very important to say, because a lot of folks who have that question that you just posed, Carlos, they don't understand. You're really, what you're truly getting is a free service from a great partner when you go through, folks like Luxury Cruise Connection. Our pricing is the same on for trade as it is for direct bookings. When you go through somebody like a Luxury Cruise Connections and your wonderful team over there, you're getting the value of expertise at no additional cost. In a lot of cases, like Liz said, because of the partnership, you're getting access to different rate types that we do with very, very, very select and great partners. So you're never going to pay more going through a travel partner than what you are going direct. So I 100% recommend you go through the travel partner, because like Carlos said, the level of not just experience, but the training team that they have in-house there, the way that their agents are able to talk to every single one of our destinations. I mean, that is a value that you can't put a price tag on, and they gladly share it. One of my favorite things about you, and I'm gonna hype you guys up a little bit here, but every time we go to that office, it's so refreshing, because one thing that I've found in the travel industry, there's a lot of your competitors, your other agencies that really are order takers, and you guys are the furthest thing from that. You guys aren't order takers. You ask the questions, what's important to you, what is that you want to get out of your vacation, and you actually do curate experiences. You give recommendations, and you're not afraid to say, well, yes, this price point is lower, but this is why this is what you truly want to do. And then when your guests come back, their level of satisfaction is 100% higher than these other folks who don't do those things that you do so well. So I just wanted to add that in.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that endorsement. It is, it is true. That is very much one of our values. And now in terms of public offers, this is a scenic public offer that is out there. And wait, hold on. This is Scenic or this is Scenic and Emerald? This is Scenic.
Yes.
It'll be for both, just the different brands will have different values.
Got it. So, what does flex credit mean?
That's a great question, and it's truly it actually lives up to its name, but I like it how it's not a lost promotion, right? It's sometimes, especially like, historically we do onboard credits and stuff, and the cruise line will tell you use or lose them, right? Kind of a deal, which is pretty standard. Here we're doing the complete opposite. Here it's you have the ability of using this credit. And I'll give you an example, right? I'm just picking a group I saw the other day. It's the guest had an option of having a $1,500 air credit or or $1,000 per person savings on their cruise, right? So they had the flexibility of what was the best choice for them. So if you are part of a chartered flight, or you and your team with your relationships, if you're able to get a better air schedule for them, then instead of losing your air credit, then it's not a loss for the consumer, that we can go ahead and put that into savings on their cruise. And then, of course, from Scenic, it can go all the way up to $2,500 credit per person for air credit and stuff like that. So it really depends on how we can best accommodate the passenger.
You're getting air credit or you're getting basically savings one way or the other. And then for all of you guys that attended today's event, and if you send this to any of your friends and family, they should also be eligible for it. We have a little token of appreciation for your time as well. And you're going to get an additional 150 for river, 250 for ocean for expedition or ocean cruises with Scenic, and 150 for river with Emerald, and 250 for yacht. So either for Scenic or Emerald, in addition to any of the public offers out there, this is additional savings that we're going to be extending for anybody that makes a booking within the next 2 weeks of today's event. So this is out there for anybody that wants a little bit of an extra incentive. Now, again, just to be completely transparent about this is for new bookings. We want to make sure, like, this is something that Scenic and us work together. I'm sorry, 21 days, for the next 21 days. Scenic and I work this together to incentivize you guys that hopefully we got you very excited about trying one of these products to make a new booking with Scenic or Emerald via Luxury Cruise Connections exclusively for the next 21 days. Now I want to go to the questions because there's a lot going on and I want to make sure that we get to all of them as much as we can. And so let me just kind of start from the top. Helen posted a comment saying interested in Asian Emerald cruises. And then you asked me privately, are there any specials? Yes, the specials that we just talked about, the public promotions apply, plus the today's event offer combinable with that as well. Helen, we're going to make sure that we reach out to you promptly to look for the dates and itinerary that you're looking for. Thank you very much for that.
And thank you. I have to leave, but I'm looking forward to getting the information from you. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you, Helen.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And by the way, you can listen to the recording as well, the end of it when we send it in the next 48 hours.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for joining.
Bye-bye.
And the next question from Warren, will Emerald be on the CN? Or Sin, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Warren,
Scenic.
Scenic will be Emerald.
Yeah, only Scenic.
But Warren, I definitely encourage you to look into the Scenic brand for that experience. I think you're going to find the value to be there. Hopefully, we'll get an opportunity to get you on that. And then thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing information some more information about these itineraries. As Elizabeth was saying, we have incredible availability that we can share with all of you guys on different options for all of the products that we talked about. There is still some availability for 2024. We already have a lot of people booking 2025, but there's still some going on for 2024. So if you haven't planned all of your trips yet, take a look at this. I'm sure that we're going to find something that might fit your, what you're looking for. Robert, I take it you're a past Scenic guest. Thank you so much for your comment about being great value. Scenic is the only way to travel the rivers, and it's worth every penny. And
I
I promise.
promised I wasn't a plant, by the way, Carlos. That he did that all on his
No,
own.
listen, we know Robert for a long time. We know he wouldn't sell his soul that way. And then his question was, the Scenic and Emerald are under the same loyalty program? Yes or no? And that's for maybe Antolin, if you
There's two separate loyalty programs behind it, that they both are under.
Okay. So like if you sell on Scenic, it's not like you have any sort of perks on Emerald, right? Or vice
Yeah.
versa.
Mhm.
They're different brands, different loyalty programs. Okay, good to know. And John was asking, looking at Expedition Cruise with Silver Sea and Seabourn, how is Scenic different? That's a juicy question.
Yeah, I put in the chat our Maritime Master series because it was filmed recently on Discovery, and it's streaming on Discovery Plus, but we also have it on YouTube. It really gives you an unbiased view. It just gives you a full experience of Scenic Eclipse 1, the journey down to Antarctica on that piece of it. I would truly look at that as doing your own research. Of course, I'm going to tell you ways that how we're better than the competition side of it. But I do want it to be completely unbiased on who you select. And of course, I want you to choose us. I will say that Jason Flusher, who our expedition team and our discovery team, he's gone on his 100th Antarctica voyage. So he is incredibly well versed. Our entire discovery team, of the 20 plus individuals that'll be helping guide you to have the most immersive and best experience in Antarctica. It's something that they are very passionate about. And we're giving you more time into the destination. Our Zodiacs drop into the water within 15 minutes, where some other brands, it can take an hour to an hour and a half. And in that time frame, a lot can change with weather in Antarctica. So again, I think it's a technology piece, the size of our ships, our personalized service, our experienced crew, that's really giving you just an experience unlike anything else. But I would implore you to watch Maritime Masters. There's a couple really great episodes in there, and it'll just give you a full-blown experience from a firsthand perspective.
So they can find those episodes on
On
online?
YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube. I put the link in here in the chat, and it's fully on YouTube on that side of it.
Good. John, I think, it is a very loaded question. I think the best way to go about it is, we can go for hours about small differences between the different options. I think the best thing that we can do is to connect with you and really understand what's important to you and then make the right recommendation. I think that what the three brands have in common, as I'm sure you know, is the three of them offer luxury expedition experiences, but then each one of them will have their slight differences here and there that I think, again, we can go for hours on. So I think it's best to kind of jump on a call and go into the details, and then make sure that that you're booking the one that could offer what you're looking for the most.
Carlos,
Yeah.
if I can real quick, I would say that one key thing there is everybody, to your point, has their things that they're really great at, right? When you talk about the Scenic Eclipse, it is the only product that's in the market that allows you to experience it from every angle, right? With the helicopters, with the submersible, we are the only brand where you can experience it under the water, on land, and in the air. So we cover everything in one product, where none of our competitors can say that they can have that full offering. And as great as some of the other brands are in their own respect, nobody does the full package the way that we do.
Excuse me, Carlos,
Yeah.
could I just add, since I have been on the Eclipse, sorry for the interruption, just a brief thing. First of all, as you know, I actually, in a couple of weeks, it will be 45 years in the industry. Scenic Eclipse was the only cruise line that when we got to the ship, first of all, they had a staff of around 10 people, 10 employees outside waiting for us and the bus to get them on the ship. Once we boarded the ship, in the lobby, there were around 10 people waiting for us. And if you enjoy whiskey, they have over 100 whiskeys in the main bar in the lobby. But let me tell you, someone mentioned about going to the bridge. I got friendly with the captain, was able to go into the bridge, and there was no problem with me videotaping us as we were getting into the dock. And I have a great video, and nobody said, oh, you can't do that and all that. It is very personable, very luxurious. The dining, including, they have two specialty dinings called the chef's table and also night market. And you get to experience that. There's no extra charge, as there are on some other, no specialty dining fees and all that. It was just glorious to be able to experience the eclipse. The ship is fantastic. The rooms are spacious. Our cabin had, our suite had a bathtub, hot tub within it, you know, with bubbles and all that. It was just very glorious. And the butler was everything we asked for. He provided, except for I asked him, we were connected to a bigger suite and he just wouldn't give me the key to go into that one, but that's okay. But I mean, it was an experience that I am thrilled to say that I did. And anyone who's thinking of going there, we did from Lima, Peru to Santiago, Chile, just before we went to Antarctica. I want to go to Antarctica, by the way, Antoine. And okay, but it was just a glorious experience. So I just wanted to mention that the dining was wonderful. It's in the chef's table. What they do is they have 10-part courses in there. And one of the things was one of the most unique things. It comes out like a cigar, but it's not a cigar. It's a piece of it's a food, and it comes in an ashtray. And I even made like I was puffing and took a photo of it. It is just unique. Everything about Scenic Eclipse is not just luxurious, but also unique. I'm sorry to interrupt.
So Steve's our go-to resident for anyone that wants to book Scenic
Steve, we're gonna take you on the road with us, buddy.
We've got all the time in the world, Steve. Keep
I'm
going.
here. I'm ready. I'll go to the various shows and book on behalf of Luxury Cruise Connection. Book
Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. Thank you for the comment. I think that really drives the message home. I want to also answer Patricia Peters' question. Do you book in Canadian dollars? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Both US and Canadian. And then Sam says, when booking Scenic, I was very surprised and disappointed that you don't accept Amex.
So we have preferred agreements with others, and this is more on the global side of it, that ensure the protections of our guests. We are hoping and in constant talks with Amex to take it on from a future payment perspective. But right now we do not have the availability to book with Amex on that piece.
I want you guys, I see Sam doing like this. Sam, I know, we all know, and I think you got to remember that this is a Scenic and Emerald, originally from Australia. They've grown for so many years, and they've grown for so long without really needing much of a relationship with Amex. Amex is, you know, is obviously an American company originally. As they've been targeting the US market for I'm gonna say good 6 years, really heavily. But remember, we had the pandemic right in the middle of it. Financial institutions were just not playing very nice with a lot of people. But I know that this is top of mind for them, and I know they're working very hard on doing that. We definitely like to advise all of our clients of the fact that they don't take Amex, but we do have a workaround. for a very small credit card fee, we can take the payment in-house at our company, and then we can submit the payment to them on your behalf. So that way you can still pay with your Amex. There is a small transaction fee, but if you absolutely want to book with Amex, and that's a workaround that we can provide, and that works out just fine. But know that they're working very, very, very strongly on solving that because they understand is a need for the American market. So, all right. So, Antolini, that picture that you posted, is that the cigar?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was getting a little nostalgic here looking at some of the pictures. I was like, oh man, there's just so I would flood your chat of all the pictures I took. But I wanted to put the cigar one that Steve mentioned it because it was delicious, but look how cool it looks.
Yeah, yeah. And then there was one with like a lollipop, and it was not a lollipop.
Yeah.
It was actual food.
It was foie gras.
People, I want you to know, there you go. It looks like a cigar. When I posted that on Facebook, people thought, when did you begin smoking? I know I don't. I ate it, but it is a unique experience, folks. Let me just tell you. And again, if you're into whiskey, over 100 from different countries, Japan, of course, Ireland, over 100 whiskeys, folks.
I think
You could do a wine tasting around the world while you're sailing around the world.
Yeah.
That's
look. I think that's one of the very interesting things about Scenic that it's important to highlight is the fact that your cuisine is it's quite trendy, right? And I think that's important because especially sometimes you want that elevated cuisine experience, and I think you have a good variety of options while on board both Scenic or Emerald. But the fact that you also have the option of this elevated and trendy cuisine, it's pretty cool. I particularly like it.
Carlos, sometimes you just want a really good burger, and I will tell you that the burgers on my Scenic River cruise, they were like I was having one a day.
Good. Well, guys,
Manny, I'm willing to try it.
Come on.
So I wanna open up the opportunity for anybody that wants to ask any more questions. If you want to unmute yourself, feel free to do so. If there's anything else you want to know, remember that these are 3 executives from the company that are here with us, that should have been back to work doing something else and taking care of somebody else about half an hour ago. But they're nice enough to have stayed with us, and if you have a question that is detailed enough that you think is something you want to ask them, this is when. I don't have more questions in the chat, I believe. Do I? I don't, right? I don't.
By the way, Carlos, I mentioned the whiskeys, but in the 10-course meal, which includes the cigar, the main chef is with you, and they pair it with a different wine, which with each
every course,
every part of the course. So I mentioned the whiskeys, but they pair the menu with a separate wine, and he explains, or she, in case but he explains why the wines have been paired with what is being served.
Well, and if you're fancy like Liz, you can always go to our French restaurant and hit the bubbly bar, which is pretty extensive. So
awesome. Guys, I want to, one more time before I let everybody go, I want to invite everybody 2 things. One, Denise posted in the chat the links to our YouTube page or Instagram or Facebook. Please follow us on those channels. You'll find it that we post a lot of relevant and really good information there that I'm sure you will enjoy watching and learn from. Also, it's a great way to contact us and communicate with us. We're very easy to do business with. We want, we're, very much a personalized experience when it comes to dealing with us. So while we are technically large in size in terms of the volume of business that we do with our cruise line partners, we are never going to be that large call and personal call center. So if you have a question, anything else pops up that you feel you want ask us about, or if you have an interest on any particular destination or itinerary with either Scenic or Emerald, just reply back to the invitation that you received. Email us, call us, go to our website, submit a request form, however you feel is more comfortable for you. We will get with you immediately and go through a consultation to understand what is the right option for you. We more than happy to answer any additional questions that you have offline as well. And that's it. That's it for now, right? Did we cover a lot or no?
We did.
Yes. All right. Any last words, Manny, Anthony, or Liz?
I'll start from so we can end with the highest level exec. But just thank you guys from your entire team. And I'm actually looking forward to meeting your new hires. And I say that tomorrow because I knew that because I say this because the last time I did that, I really felt their enthusiasm and I saw how, what a wonderful job Mario and the team did of just onboarding. And it's just, I love that. I love to kind of having that opportunity to get in front of them, get them excited as we are. For those that took the time to listen to us, kind of, story talk and share a little bit more about us. I mean, look, there's a lot more to tell. We very much appreciate it. And just as Carlos and team is an open door, I mean, anything that we can do to help you as well. We're here to support them and just please, it's like we mentioned, it's an ecosystem. We're here to support because, at the end of the day, money's one thing, but time is something we'll never get back. And when you invest your time with your friends, family, your loved ones, on one of our vacation, experiences, we want to make sure that we deliver from that highest level, right? We don't take that granted. So hope to see you guys on board. Thank you, Luxury Cruise Connection, for the partnership, and I'll pass the mic.
We're ending with Liz, so I guess it's my turn. I'll reiterate that. Listen, working with you guys has always been more fun than work. We appreciate the partnership, and I'll just add to what you said to the guests that are on here, and say we are always a phone call away for Carlos and his whole team. So no. If there is something that comes up after this and you reach out to them, they've got a direct line into us. We love working together. We love partnering and making sure that your questions are answered. So give them a call. You will not be disappointed, and you're not just getting them, but you're getting us on the back end as a full support team. So thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, and lastly, again, like it's such a great partnership with Luxury Cruise Connections, and we value our guest experience on board. They value the experience that they're delivering to you as from a client perspective. So it's truly just, if you're thinking about something completely unique, completely different, and as Antolin had mentioned, really on the experience side of it, I know that our brands will deliver for you. And it's just about, where you want to go. So we'd be happy to be one of those selected experiences, and just thank you and the Luxury Cruise Connection team for having us on today.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much, Liz, Manny, Antolin. Thank you so much for your time, for everything that you do for us, for taking really good care of our guests when we put them on board your ships. Looking forward to a very successful rest of 2024 and forward, and looking forward to doing these again very soon. Congratulations on your last ship, the Emerald Kaya, and looking forward to getting many of our guests on board your beautiful ships and experiences. So thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you all next time.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Contact us at luxurycruiseconnections.com.